I'm Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter. I'm a career coach, helping people with their job search, with hiring, being more effective as a manager and leader, and being effective in the workplace in general. I did search for more than 40 years, filled more than 1,200 full-time positions plus consulting assignments. And one thing I know from experience is that there's one thing that you need to do way in advance of your interviews, because it's preferable than cramming, and that is mock interviewing. Now, I speak about way in advance of interviews because when you cram, it defeats one of the things that you can get from doing it in advance, and that is reduce the stress, reduce the anxiety. And I say that because so many people get wound up about interviews. They get afraid, they make mistakes, they get nervous, they don't speak freely. And when you do things to heighten your anxiety, it translates into you haven't practiced adequately in order to remove the anxiety, to remove the stress. All that's happening is you're recognizing how poorly you're performing, or your fear that you're performing poorly is getting in the way of the performance. Taking time to rehearse, just like an entertainer does when they're going to be in a movie or in a play, they rehearse for weeks in advance, right? They know those lines and make them second nature, right? And you go on job interviews never having rehearsed and wonder why you're nervous, which translates into you're afraid that you're going to screw up. And rightly so, you're ill prepared. I'm a guy who gives no BS job search advice. And the absence of preparation is the biggest failure is the second biggest failure that people engage in their search. The first one is they think they know it all, and they confuse the fact that they know how to do their job with they know how to find their job. And thus, they hit their head against brick walls because they haven't practiced, they don't know the rules of job search, and thus they walk into situations where they're like a baby and act that way as well. People miss out on opportunities because they're ill prepared. And as I've said to many people who I've spoken with about coaching, every great athlete in the world practices. Every great entertainer, before they do a show, rehearses. And you go on job interviews, and the first time the words ever come out of your mouth are at the interview. And then you wonder why you screw up, why you're afraid, why you don't project confidence. When firms hire, they're not just looking for for competence. They look for self-confidence, character, chemistry, maybe a little bit of charisma, all of which add up to the fact that they trust you to do a great job. Without that trust, they keep interviewing. And part of creating that environment where you're self-confident is coming through practice, and many of you never do any. Mock interviews are a great way. You can work with a coach like me to practice. You can work with any number of other people to practice. You can find out more about interview coaching with me at my website, thebiggamehunter.us. But no matter where you do it, you gotta practice in advance to defeat the nerves and build your confidence. Make the mistakes away from the interview with someone who can help, and thus help you perform well. Hope you found this helpful. Again, my website is thebiggamehunter.us. You can schedule either a coaching call or a free discovery call. The coaching I charge for, the discovery call is free to determine whether or not you want me to coach you. I'd love to help you. Again, you can do that on my website, thebiggamehunter.us. In the lower left-hand corner, the lower right-hand corner, if you're watching on YouTube and you want to subscribe to my channel, click the little icon there. You'll get notices whenever I release new content. Hope you have a great day, and take care.